Hello, welcome to the channel Y Stories. Enjoy watching.
You'll talk with chickens now. The husband mocked his wife, tossing her suitcase into the shack. But a year later, hearing congratulations in a restaurant, he turned cold. For Vicenta Alcocer, the news of the divorce hit like a bolt from the blue. She had been married to Enrique for 12 years, and nothing had foreshadowed this. Then one day, he came and said that their paths were parting. "What do you mean, parting?" Vicenta asked her husband in a shaky voice. "Vicenta, forgive me, but we're just too different. Lately, I don't feel any support from you. You have no interest in what I do, where I spend my free time, or with whom. You've become like an emotionless robot, just cooking and cleaning. And those questionable friends of yours, befriending those old neighbors. You cackle with them all day like hens. You're 35, not 70. You're stuck in this routine and don't want to change anything. I'm tired of it all. I've thought about this for a long time, understand? I didn't make this decision overnight, but I can't live with you anymore. I need to grow, not listen to gossip about how Elena from the 15th apartment put chicken feet in Clarissa Borra's mailbox from the 7th. Hold on a second. Vicenta interrupted him. Aren't you getting things mixed up? What do you mean don't want to do anything? You were the one who made me quit my job several years ago. You literally gave me an ultimatum, saying your wife shouldn't stress but manage the household. And when I asked to take florist courses, what did you say? That it's a waste of time. By the way, being a florist is a lucrative profession. And again, what did you say then? Right, that you earn enough so I shouldn't worry about money. How many arguments did we have about this? And now what? So it's my fault that you tied me to the house? I had to break off all ties with my old friends because you didn't like them, always thinking about parties and kids. Oh, right, kids. Another issue between us. As you rightly pointed out, I'm 35. At first, you didn't want a child, always postponing it. I eventually stopped bringing it up because we were doing fine. Be honest, is this what it's all about? What do kids have to do with it? Enrique snapped. Why would you want a child? What could you give them with your unfinished degree? You're like a child yourself, even though you're not young anymore. Enrique, Vicenta interrupted, watch your words. Why start with the insults? If you want a divorce, fine, but don't try to make me the guilty one here. Admit it, there's another woman, isn't there? There you go again with your jealousy, her husband flushed. Didn't I give you enough reasons? Isn't that enough? I thought so, Vicenta said bitterly. So it is because of another woman. Why would you think that? Enrique snapped in anger. I understand that you're trying to smooth things over and make it seem like I'm the one to blame for the breakup. You always do this. But since there's no going back now, just admit it. If it'll make you feel better, sighed Enrique, yes, I fell in love with another woman. She gives me what you couldn't. You've really let yourself go. Do women nowadays really allow themselves to walk around the house in stretched out sweatpants with a messy bun on their heads? Tell me, when was the last time you put on makeup or went to get a manicure? Don't I give you money? Take it, there's plenty. But no, you don't even buy yourself a dress. It's embarrassing to take you out in public. I go to work events alone while having a living wife. It's shameful. My boss keeps asking, where's your wife? I'm tired of lying, saying you're either sick or unwell. He'll start laughing that I married a sickly woman. All the girls these days take care of themselves and make their husbands pay for lashes and nails. But you've just given up on yourself, and that means you've given up on me too. Enrique, are you serious right now? Fine, I'll start spending all day at salons and shopping, and in the evenings, I'll hit the gym like your boss's wives. But you'll be complaining within a week, asking where all the money's going and why the house is a mess. How am I supposed to mop the floors with those nails? Those wives all have housekeepers. Are you going to pay for that? For you, that's a symbol of luxury. And why would you, when your wife is a housewife? In movies, the housewife is a well-groomed woman with perfect hair and heels and a beautiful dress, sipping champagne all day long. Or do you think that just because it's the two of us, my job is easier? Our windows face the avenue, the house is constantly dusty. Laundry, cleaning, cooking. You come home from work and see everything clean and tidy, and on top of that, you want a delicious dinner. That doesn't happen in 5 minutes. So when am I supposed to go to salons? It's not about salons. You could at least buy yourself a nice house outfit, some decent lingerie. I want to see a beautiful wife next to me, not a worn-out nag with a mop in her hands. And what about that? Vicenta snapped. You practically make me sign for every penny you give me for the household. When I asked you to buy a winter coat, what did you say? Why such an expensive one? You only go to the store and back. Your words? I can only imagine what you'd say if I asked for money for a salon visit. You forced me to stay home and conform to this routine. And now you don't like that I look like an old granny. Of course, if I were you, I'd be looking for someone prettier and fresher too. Vicenta, you have to understand, I didn't go looking for her on purpose. It just happened. Yes, we've been together for many years, and we've been through a lot. But in recent years, you've become a stranger to me, and it's not just about appearance. I'm a person too. I need affection, warmth, and the chance to grow. And who stopped you from growing? Vicenta burst out. I never restricted you in anything. So it's my fault that you trapped me in this domestic prison and turned me from a woman into a household object? Though, yes, maybe it is my fault. I shouldn't have listened to you. So you're just throwing me out on the street now? Thanks, darling. You're leaving me with nothing. Where am I supposed to go now? You have a house, Enrique laughed. A house? Vicenta gasped. Are you saying I have to go live in the countryside now? And what am I supposed to do there? That's for you to decide, what you'll do and how, Enrique replied. You have no rights to this apartment. I bought it before we were married. You inherited a house after your parents died, your family home. Just like I can't claim it, neither can you. You'll manage the household. I'll give you some money to start with, and I'll even buy you some livestock, a goat, some chickens. I'm not a monster. Are you out of your mind, Enrique? Vicenta covered her face with her hand. What livestock? I don't even know how to run that kind of household. You were born there. You must have some idea. Enrique smirked. It's ingrained in you, you'll pick it up quickly. People live in villages, and they manage just fine. Are you completely stupid? Vicenta was too exhausted to be angry. Vicenta, think and say what you want, but I've already made my decision, and there's no going back. I've already handed the papers to the lawyer. I don't even need your consent. We don't have kids, and no joint property either. So, the divorce will go through, and you'll be free to go your own way. Just pack your things calmly. I'm not going to rush you. You have a week. I'll leave now so I won't bother you with my presence. Don't call me and beg me to reconsider. Tell me, Enrique, who is this woman? Vicenta asked, though she wasn't sure why. Why do you need to know? Enrique replied after a moment of thought. I just want to understand who caused my marriage to fall apart. Probably some 20-year-old girl who lured you with her body and fresh face. No, Enrique sighed. She's an ordinary woman. You don't know her, we met by chance. She's my age, actually even older than you. She has a son, a fairly grown one. Vicenta, you have to understand, I'm serious when I say I love her. Sometimes a person reaches almost 40 and realizes they've been on the wrong path their whole life. I'll be 40 next year, and I still want to find happiness. We've spent so many years trying to build something. Didn't you ever sense that something was off? Yes, you can accuse me now of holding you back. But why did you never resist or insist on your own way? Because I love you, Enrique. How could I argue with your decisions? Exactly. That's what I'm talking about. You're just like clay, molded into whatever shape someone wants. Vicenta, why did you change so much? When we first met, you were like granite. Try imposing your will on that. But then what happened? Who would like it if their wife just silently follows them around and agrees with everything? We've lost the passion, Vicenta. Passion, and without that, can we really continue? Enrique, what passion? Look how old we are. But we have a solid home and trust, or at least I thought we did. Exactly, you thought. What good is this solid home if I dread coming back from work? Why are you so naive? Enough, don't continue, Vicenta interrupted, feeling she was about to break down in tears. I'll pack my things, and you can take me to the village. Go wherever you want, I won't hold you back. After all, I still have my pride. Vicenta lay helplessly on the bed, staring blankly at the ceiling. Her tears had already dried. Several hours had passed since Enrique left. How did this happen, she thought. Could I really have grown cold and lost control of the situation? Maybe Enrique is right. When a marriage ends, it's never just one person's fault, right? But I always tried to make sure everything was good between us. I gave up everything for him. And now what? No child, no pet. Just go wherever you want. I always thought a divorce would come after a big fight, with dramatic arguments, property disputes, and accusations. But this? Quietly and suddenly. Maybe he'll change his mind? But what's the point? How can I live with him after this? Even if he comes back, what can I do? And maybe he's right, there are no feelings left. It's all just become a habit. I'm not even sure I feel anything. The tears. They're tears of self-pity, nothing more. Yes, it hurts. But it doesn't hurt because I'm alone now. It hurts to realize that everything I've done over the past years means nothing. Starting over from scratch, in the village? That's ridiculous. I can't even milk a cow. Sure, I could learn, it's not hard. But I don't want to. Since childhood, I was desperate to get to the city, longing for a different life with all my heart. I saw how my mother and grandmother broke their backs in that damn garden. I'm grateful they didn't force me to do the same. But I couldn't just sit idly by. I hated that garden with all my heart. Even the smell of the village house makes me sick. Ever since I moved to the city, I haven't been back, not once, except when Mom died. What would I even look at there? How people drink themselves to death. Cow manure? Fine, I could try to sell the house and at least buy a small room here. But who would want a half-collapsed hut in the middle of nowhere? I could be selling it for 1,000 years. And I don't have a penny to my name. Sure, I could sell some things, Enrique's jewelry. But that won't last long, maybe a couple of months of rent. And who would hire me? My age isn't exactly a plus. And I have a 10-year gap in my work history with little experience. Should I get a job as a cashier at a supermarket? That's an option, of course. But I'd have to swallow my pride. From living in luxury to this. Would you like to pay by card or cash? No. This definitely isn't for me. Although, any job is needed, and there's nothing shameful about it. Still, it feels a bit embarrassing. Those young girls work there, and I'm already over 30. Hey, Vicenta. So what if you're over 30? Is that really old? It would be great to train as a florist now and find a job I truly love. How I regret not insisting on my own back then. All these years, I've just been gathering dust. Never mind. If it's the village, then it's the village. God willing, I'll settle in there. If you have a good head on your shoulders, you can make a fortune through self-sustenance. I could grow berries and sell them. Enrique even said he'd give me some money to start with. I don't need a goat, he should buy me some good equipment instead. I need to find out what's in demand now. Maybe I could grow greens. Or should I get a goat and make cheese? There are so many options. I should dust off my old skills. I used to make business plans when I was still working. A lot has changed since then, but probably not critically. In fact, there are even more opportunities now. Besides, there's still the plot of land in the forest that my father left. It's not too far from the village. At first glance, it might seem like a remote backwater, but it's only a 2-hour drive from here. That's not too long, and there's nature, a river, a forest. I could turn my father's land into a campsite, set up cabins, something like a small resort. That's really popular now. In summer, I could organize berry picking and mushroom gathering tours, and in winter. It's too early to dream about that. It's easy to imagine, but it would need money, advertising. How would I promote myself? I hardly have any contacts left. I can't exactly rely on the old neighbors to spread the word. Well, there will be time to think about it later. First, I need to get to the village, and then I'll figure out what to do next. With these thoughts, Vicenta fell asleep. Enrique's car kicked up dust and sent small stones flying off the roadside as it made its way down a dirt road through a wheat field. Vicenta sat as gloomy as the autumn sky. The car turned off the main road onto a country lane after passing a sign indicating they had arrived at the village. For a few minutes, the car drove along, leaving the field behind. In the distance, on the left side, the winding river was visible, with a few scattered houses along its banks. The few remaining residents were sustained by a small fishing enterprise owned by some businessman from the capital and a sawmill. Vicenta's parents' house was isolated. It wasn't even on the edge of the village, it was a completely separate area a couple of kilometers away from civilization. Bushes of overgrown strawberries, already showing some berries, had pushed through the sagging, time-darkened fence. The road leading to the house was surprisingly smooth, showing signs of regular use by the locals who took it as a shortcut to a neighboring large village. Tall lime trees grew along the roadside, emitting a faint, sweet fragrance that Vicenta immediately recognized, bringing a flood of memories. Any moment now, the rooster would crow, the cow grazing in the fenced clover field across the road would low invitingly. A dog would bark, announcing the arrival of guests. And then her mother would step out through the creaky gate, wiping her sweaty forehead with the back of her hand. But of course, no one came out. The house greeted the still married couple with boarded-up windows and a gate that creaked on rusty hinges. Enrique stopped the car. "Well, here we are," he sighed, turning off the ignition. Silently, Vicenta got out of the car and closed the door. She looked sadly at the house she hadn't seen in many years. Everything here breathed loneliness and a sense of hopelessness. There were no barking dogs, no crowing roosters, no sound of axes or the hum of human voices. Vicenta hesitantly pushed open the gate, shivering at the unpleasant creak, and stepped onto the overgrown yard, filled with wormwood and bird cucumbers. Tears welled up in her eyes at the sight of the empty doghouse with a rusty chain lying forlornly beside it. No one had come out to greet her. Carefully, she walked over to the carved shutters and gently stroked the peeling blue paint on the window frame, which her grandfather had personally crafted. On the crooked, partially rotted bench lay a damp, swollen, and faded book, weathered by rain and sun. The words on the cover were illegible. Vicenta tried to pry apart the pages, glued together by the harsh elements. Mathematical Analysis read the title on the first page. Good Lord! Vicenta grimaced with distaste. I wonder who read this. How did a book like this even end up here and not end up in the village outhouse? Probably the strangest find of my life. Well, that's it, came Enrique's voice from behind her. Vicenta turned and saw her husband placing her rolling suitcase and a large checkered bag on the wooden platform. Do you like it? He sneered. Now you'll be negotiating with the chickens. Anyway, Vicenta, I'm heading back. I have to get up early for work. Yeah, off to work, Vicenta scoffed. Go on, get lost. I left some cash in your suitcase for you. It should be enough to get by for now. You can buy some chickens, fix things up here, and then you're on your own. You could have kept it, she smirked. You've already thrown me out like trash. I don't need your handouts. Vicenta, stop it. I can't just leave you here to starve. I'll bring you some groceries on the weekend. There's some food in the bag, so you won't starve. If you need anything, call me. We're still officially married, and I'm not abandoning you, but don't push it. Enrique, that's enough. Just go. I can handle it myself. I've got hands, legs, and even if my head's a bit foolish, it's still on my shoulders. Enrique hesitated for a moment, then silently walked out the gate. A minute later, Vicenta heard the car engine start, and 2 minutes after that, there was no trace of Enrique left on the property. Vicenta pulled a set of keys from her purse and unlocked the padlock hanging on the door. It clicked loudly and fell with a clatter onto the wooden porch. Even you're not happy to see me, she laughed nervously. Well, let's see what we've got here. A musty smell of mold and dust, accumulated over years, hit her nose. Her mother had died 5 years ago. That was when Vicenta had symbolically hung the lock on the door and hired some men to board up the windows. She had believed she would never return here again. Walking up the creaky steps deeper into the house, she pulled open the heavy door leading to the living area. The summer room smelled of decaying newspapers and some kind of herbs. Strange rustling sounds came from the half-open attic space. Bats! Vicenta thought with a shiver. I've always been terrified of them. Dad used to get rid of them, but now it looks like I'll have to do it myself. Well, that can wait. I just want to see the scale of the disaster I'll have to deal with. I don't even want to think about the garden right now. The door barely budged, but eventually, Vicenta squeezed through into the dark kitchen. She felt around the wall for the light switch, but there was no power. Cursing under her breath, she went back to the entryway where the electrical panel was located. After some fumbling, she finally succeeded. The hallway light flickered on, but immediately there was a click, and it went out, burned out. Vicenta returned to the kitchen. This time, the light came on, casting a dim glow over the rather miserable surroundings. In the corner stood a gas stove with a red gas cylinder covered by a rag, and next to it loomed a bulky refrigerator like a stern monolith. The table was piled with rags and newspapers. Vicenta didn't remember leaving anything like that there. The stove was cold, as if winter had taken up residence inside it. She walked across the creaky floorboards to the next room, equally depressing and shrouded in darkness. 2 iron beds covered with faded but still colorful patchwork quilts, topped with towering stacks of pillows. An old sideboard with gloomy dishes and a shelf crammed with books. In the corner, a television that had seen better days, with rabbit ear antennas sticking out of it. Bong! Bong! The sound made Vicenta nearly jump out of her skin. She pressed her hands to her chest, trying to calm her racing heart. The clock, she sighed in relief when the sound repeated. 2 o'clock. Unbelievable. Who would have thought it's still ticking? How is that even possible? Don't you have to wind it all the time? Vicenta glanced at her phone screen. The digital clock showed it was only 7 minutes past 1. Aha, she laughed. Is this how you're welcoming me back? You recognized me, didn't you? Yes, your Vicenta has returned. We'll be here together forever now. Oh, but you're so dusty. And everything's overgrown, cobwebs everywhere. Well, what can I do? I guess I'd better start cleaning up a bit. But first, I need a crowbar. With a heavy sigh, Vicenta headed back to the entryway. She knew where her father always kept his tools. Sliding the latch on a small door, she shone a flashlight inside. A small crowbar gleamed in the corner. Vicenta grabbed it and stepped outside. The fresh air, warmed by the June sun and dampened by the wind, immediately hit her, carrying the scent of manure and freshly cut grass from the main village. The contrast with the stale air inside the house was striking. She gripped the crowbar tightly and headed toward the windows. The first board came off easily, showering her with splinters and dust. The second was more stubborn, but Vicenta managed to pry it off. However, the third window wouldn't budge at all. "Damn it," she swore, dropping the crowbar in frustration. "Miss," a voice suddenly called out behind her, causing Vicenta to startle and turn around. "What are you doing? Looting the place?" Standing by the gate was a tall man around 45, dressed in a bright plaid shirt and jeans. "What makes you think that?" she snapped, blowing a sweaty strand of bangs off her forehead. "Well, what else am I supposed to think?" the stranger smirked. "You're standing here with a crowbar, breaking windows. Obviously trying to get inside? Oh, so the open door doesn't raise any questions for you?" Vicenta retorted, frowning. "For your information, I should be the one asking what you're doing on my property and why you just walked in so casually." "Oh, right." The man scratched his head. "I'm terribly sorry. I was just passing by and heard some banging. Thought someone was breaking in. The house has been abandoned for so long, and no one comes around here on the outskirts, so I figured maybe some hooligans were trying to loot the place. Although, I can't imagine what they'd find worth taking. So, did I get it right? This is your house?" "It's mine," Vicenta nodded. "Did you buy it or something?" the stranger asked, surprised. "And are you here with your family, or are you alone?" "Well, aren't you curious?" Vicenta exclaimed. "No, I didn't buy it, just returned to the old family nest. And yes, I'm here alone, planning to bring the place back to life." "Wow." The man whistled in surprise. "Do you think you've got the strength for it? The house looks sturdy, but it's clear no one's lived here for ages. Seems like quite a challenge for a delicate lady to handle on her own." "Lady?" Vicenta scoffed. "Whether I can handle it or not, I'll have to. I don't have any other choice. I'll restore it bit by bit. What else can I do?" "Got it," the man said, holding his hands up in a gesture of peace. "By the way, my name's Renato Bernardo. I live nearby. You're welcome to visit any time." "Vicenta." "Thanks for the invitation," she said, softening a bit. "But I don't have time for visiting. As you can see, there's a mountain of work to be done. Right now, I need to get these boards off, and I'm having trouble with the lights inside. Why don't I help you out?" "Sorry I didn't offer earlier, I was a bit flustered. I mean, what kind of man would I be if I didn't?" Renato quickly jumped up and grabbed the crowbar from the ground. With a few swift movements, he pried all the boards off the windows. "Any more?" he asked, sniffling a bit. "I'll take care of the rest for you. The house isn't small, after all." "I feel awkward making a stranger do all this when you were just on your way," Vicenta said. "Me? What was I doing?" Renato laughed. "I was just out for a walk. And to be honest, I came here with a bit of an ulterior motive." "Here? You?" Vicenta asked, surprised. "Yeah," Renato admitted, his bristly cheeks turning a charming shade of pink that made him look like a teenager caught in the act. "Your garden is overgrown with wild strawberries. I don't have anything on my own plot except a gazebo and a grill, so I've been sneaking over here to snack on your berries. They're just ripening now. I only just got back and came straight here. I must confess, I've been doing this for a few years. Your gate wasn't locked, so I just let myself in. The first time was an accident. I've always been drawn to abandoned houses like this. But I would never break in. Seeing the padlock and boarded up windows, I knew it was off limits. But some places are just left to rot, so I sometimes take a peek. It's fascinating, you know, to see the remnants of a life that was once someone's cozy home. You wouldn't believe the things I've found: old photos, antique clocks, kitchenware. I find it all incredibly interesting. I hope I don't seem too strange to you." "So, you don't live here, just visit occasionally?" Vicenta asked, eyeing the man carefully. "Yeah, I let myself come here for a month once a year. I'm from the city, and I'm tired of the usual resorts." Dealing with my ex-wife was a nightmare. She always wanted expensive vacations, while I'm a simple guy who loves nature. My great-grandfather lived here, and my grandfather was born here. I used to come here as a kid, though rarely. So, imagine my excitement when I saw a plot of land for sale in my hometown. I quickly got everything together, brought in builders, and they put up a house for me in no time. I wanted a log cabin like the one my grandfather had. That old house burned down about 30 years ago. So, I built a slightly more modern one using Finnish technology. You should come visit, I'll show you around. Yes, Vicenta tried to remind him of the pile of work waiting for her. I remember. But, Vicenta, work won't run away. You won't be planting the garden this year anyway, and it's better to clear things up in the fall. If you need help, I can assist with equipment. It's impossible to uproot everything by yourself. Though, it's a shame about the strawberries, they're such delicious berries. If I were you, I'd gather as many as possible and make jam. As for the house, you won't be able to finish it in a couple of days anyway, you need some rest too. I just arrived yesterday and don't have much to do. I can help if you accept it. And don't worry about causing me any inconvenience. I actually enjoy working with my hands. My job involves sitting in an office all day signing papers. It drives me crazy. At home, I don't do much except chop wood and heat the sauna. Do you live alone? Yes, it's my little secret passion. Last year and the year before, I came with my daughter, but she's not into it. What can you do? At 20, she has different interests. She prefers resorts like her mother. Although, now she's focusing more on her studies. But she won't set foot here with me during the holidays. So, here I am, alone and a bit lonely. Well, not entirely alone. Not entirely? Vicenta squinted. Yeah, I'm here with Marcos, living the bachelor life. He's my friend, my brother, my in-law, call him what you like. But he's the closest thing I have to family right now. Today, though, he got offended and flatly refused to come eat strawberries with me. Seems he sensed he'd have to face the homeowner and feel embarrassed. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. Marcos is. He's my dog. Renato laughed. He's a fantastic Shiba Inu. Do you know the breed? Yes. Vicenta nodded enthusiastically. I know it well. I've been asking my husband for years to get one. Our neighbors breed them. So, you're married? Renato asked, looking puzzled. Vicenta hesitated. Yes and no. What do you mean? We're getting a divorce, which is why I came here. You could say my husband kicked me out and personally brought me here. Why would he do that? Renato's eyes widened. Did you really do something to upset him? It's a long story. Why should you even care? In short, we just didn't get along. After 12 years of marriage. We don't have children, I let myself go, and he found someone else. That's the whole story. That can't be, Renato said, scrutinizing Vicenta. I don't see that you've let yourself go. You're actually quite an attractive young woman. Yes, your eyes might look a bit tired, but that can be fixed. The fresh air here will do you good, you won't recognize yourself tomorrow. Don't flatter me, Renato, Vicenta said, waving him off, her cheeks turning as red as a strawberry. Better to face the bitter truth than sweet lies. And I, Vicenta, never lie, truly. I even got divorced over it. My wife got tired of hearing the truth and ran away with half of our joint assets. She left me our daughter, though. Thank God, she's already grown up, otherwise, I wouldn't have had time to raise her. Really? So, in a way, we're fellow sufferers? Why sufferers? I think it's quite the opposite. Is it happiness to live with someone who no longer cares about you? To me, divorce is a ticket to a new, happy life. After my divorce, I even felt I could breathe more freely. I found time for my interests and got a dog. My wife also refused to agree to have a dog. She complained about the dirt in the house and not being able to go anywhere. But there was a lot more mess from her. Marcos is really clean, and only a housekeeper could keep up with the mess Dina made. At least Corazon didn't take after her. She's a perfectionist who can't stand dust and disorder. For her, this village is a real hell. Just the roads alone. Do you have children? No, Vicenta sighed. I wanted to have them, but my husband didn't. Then we just stopped talking about it altogether. Would you have liked to? Well, Vicenta looked up at the sky. How should I put it? I think at 35 it might be a bit late. And talking about it now seems strange, since my husband is no longer around. 35? Renato exclaimed. Sorry for being so blunt, but I would have guessed you were no older than 28. There you go, flattering me again. Vicenta laughed. Not at all. I know a thing or two about women. No, don't think I'm some kind of Don Juan. I just have a lot of young women working at my company, and I've learned to gauge their ages. Seems like you haven't learned very well, Vicenta chuckled. Anyway, let's change the subject. After my husband's reproaches, I can't take compliments seriously. All right. Vicenta, maybe I can help you with something else now? And you can feed me strawberries so I don't leave empty-handed. Well, there's not much to help with. Oh, I could at least carry your things into the house. That suitcase is quite heavy, you won't manage it on your own. It's not right for women to lift heavy things, you still have to give birth. Yeah, Vicenta looked at him skeptically. And it needs cleaning too, there's a thick layer of dust, it's too early to bring things in. I can't ask you to help me with the dusting, can I? Well, let's skip the dusting. How about I bring in some water? We can use it to wash the floors. That's a good idea. I'll bring the buckets, the well is over there. For a few hours, Vicenta and Renato worked together to tidy up the house, trying to make it feel livable. By evening, they had succeeded. Tired but satisfied with their work, they sat on the porch. Vicenta, I'm going to head home now. Marcos is probably going a bit crazy without me. I'll come by tomorrow to see what needs fixing. I have tools, and there's still some plywood and paint in the shed from the construction. That way you won't have to run around to stores. Oh, that's great. I'd be very grateful. I don't even know how the buses run here, and you probably can't buy much anyway. All right then. I'll be going. If you need anything, just give me a call. Wait, the strawberries. Oh, right. I completely forgot. Let me quickly pick some for you, it's the least I can do to thank you. I've been taking advantage of you all day. Vicenta quickly filled the can with ripe berries. She didn't even have to go far into the garden, the bushes grew right up to the house. After handing the can to Renato, they said their goodbyes. Night fell quickly. Vicenta lay on her grandmother's bed, for some reason unable to lie on her mother's bed. Her own bed was in a cluttered room in the part of the house she hadn't yet reached. The clock, which Vicenta had managed to wind, struck 11. She fell asleep to the chimes. For the past 2 weeks, Vicenta had been settling into her new home. Renato came every day to help her restore the house. He brought with him a cheerful, red-haired dog who, upon seeing Vicenta, would lose his mind, roll onto his back, present his white belly, and wag his tail furiously. Vicenta liked him. Remarkable, Renato observed as Vicenta once again petted Marcos, who was sprawled out in the yard. I've never seen this boy let a woman get close. He doesn't even like Corazon, and he won't let Ida, our housekeeper, within 2 meters of him. When we walk him, he only goes to dogs whose owners are men. When ladies who own dogs want to meet him, he growls at them. I always thought Marcos was a misanthrope, to be honest. But he took to you right away. It's mutual, Vicenta laughed. I'm passionate about dogs. We used to have another dog here, a white Laika, who died many years ago, but I still remember her. I tried to persuade Enrique to get a dog, but he just hit a wall. It would be less boring at home with at least one dog. My neighbors run a kennel for this breed. You probably know, since you're into this breed yourself, it's called Satiated Elephant. Funny name. Satiated Elephant? Renato was surprised. So, Marcos is actually from there. A subordinate of mine recommended that kennel to me. No way. What a coincidence. Yeah, Enrique was involved with the kennel owner. He even managed to negotiate a discount. They wanted to sell Marcos abroad, but when I saw him, or rather, when he saw me, we both immediately knew we couldn't live without each other. And Enrique, who is he? Yes, my subordinate, the commercial director, to be precise. I told you, he was the one who took me to the kennel. He said, my neighbor breeds great dogs, and I had been talking about getting a pet for a long time. So, here we are. That's strange. What's strange? That I wanted to get a dog for myself? No, it's not that, Vicenta frowned. Enrique is strange, the neighbor of the breeder. My husband is also named Enrique, and the kennel owner lives in the neighboring building. And my husband works as a commercial director at a company called Vessel. Wait. Renato interrupted her. Vessel is my company. And your last name isn't Alcocer, by any chance? Alcocer, Vicenta paled. So, you're Enrique's wife? Renato's eyes widened in surprise. Wow. Incredible. So, it seems he was cheating on me with that dog breeder. He said she was a woman in her 40s with a son. But I could never have suspected her, she was always so nice to me. Oh, Enrique, what a jerk. Vicenta, stop. Just erase him from your life already. Yes, who knows who he was cheating with? You're no longer together, what's the point in being angry or jealous now? You're right, Vicenta thought for a moment. To hell with them. Let them do whatever they want. It no longer concerns me. Vicenta, tell me something else. Enrique never once brought you to any company events. I know everyone's spouses. But he always said you were unwell. We even thought he had either worn you out or you were bedridden, and he was embarrassed to admit it. Or didn't you want to meet anyone? Don't you like those kinds of events? He never invited me, and then he told me outright that he was ashamed to show me off, such a mess. Has he lost his mind? Oh, Vicenta, you got off that ship just in time. Enrique always seemed like a decent guy to me. I never would have thought he treated his wife like that. He's always so gallant and courteous with the women at work. The girls in accounting even flirt with him, but he's always unyielding. And now it turns out this way. Well, I'll have a word with him. Renato, don't. Why mix work with personal matters? He threw you out after 12 years of marriage. And you're saying to leave him alone? Let him understand that he can be treated the same way. Maybe he'll then find himself a worthy job. Renato, Vicenta looked at him seriously. How is Enrique as an employee? Well, in 8 years, no complaints at all. Then let him keep working. Why ruin his life? He's already punished himself, and God sees everything. How he treated me will be accounted for. I don't want to interfere in anyone's life, no matter how much pain someone has caused me. Revenge is for the weak and the unstable. In my opinion, the wise thing is to show him that I can be happy without his involvement. Well, you're right. Yes, a woman like you is priceless. Enrique is such a fool. I'm amazed. He's such a capable guy, and in his personal life, he's a total amateur. Let's stop talking about him, Vicenta patted Renato on the shoulder. Renato, listen, we've done everything today. How about we go to the river? Since I arrived, I haven't had a chance to swim. There was a place I used to find interesting. I'm not sure if it's still like that, but we used to run there as kids. It had a sort of gazebo made of greenery and a stream flowing under a green canopy. The water was always warm and shallow. But I went recently to check on the spring and saw that houses have been built right along the shore, so I'm afraid the place might be ruined. Let me see this photo. Renato rummaged through his phone. Is this the place? That's it. Yes, it's changed a bit. The footbridges are new, but it's definitely the same place. I can't believe you found it. And it's still there. Let's go check out your spot. And you can also come visit me, Renato winked. Marcos, as if sensing that his owner had something planned, barked invitingly, "Show the way." They walked down the winding path from Vicenta's house to the riverbank. The path sloped steeply, and they had to hold onto the tall grass to avoid falling. You really took me on a trek. Renato laughed as Marcos barked encouragingly, his tail flickering through the grass. It's a hidden gem, I must say. Well, I'm not to blame, Vicenta defended herself. I haven't been here for almost 20 years. It used to be more civilized. There were wooden railings and the steps were carved directly into the ground. Lucas Acevedo even covered them with gravel so they wouldn't be slippery in the rain. Now it's all overgrown. What's that? Vicenta, who had already reached the bottom where the slippery path smoothly transitioned into a cobblestone platform, noticed a metal fence almost completely hidden by thick foliage. Renato, it seems like it's fenced off, she said with disappointment. Look, a fence. Well, I'll be. Renato grimaced. Maybe we should climb over? Are you serious? This is private property. It looks like someone bought this land and fenced it off. How did you even get in? I wouldn't have thought you'd climb over, seems like a decent guy. No, I didn't climb over. There's a gate nearby, we can get in through that. Although I usually come from the other side. Right, Marcos? The dog barked happily. What do you mean the other side? Do you come here often? And the other side is across the river? But there, the houses almost reach the water. Come on, don't be afraid, Renato winked at her. There's no one here. Renato, this isn't right. Even if no one's around, we'd be trespassing. What if the owners see us? It would be such a shame. We're adults, and with a dog, splashing around someone else's property. Sure, it's not fair to buy a river, but you can't even lure kids here. They're all on their phones, not interested in swimming. And it's dangerous. We were the ones who were reckless. Vicenta, why so serious? Don't you have a hint of adventure in you? I'm telling you, there's no one here. Even if there is, I'll take full responsibility, don't worry. Besides, we've come this far. At least we can have a look. If you don't like it, we'll leave, and you can tell me off then. All right, Vicenta reluctantly agreed, glancing around as if searching the nearby bushes for a guard with a gun. You said there's a gate? Yes, over there. Look, Renato ducked into the foliage, and Vicenta followed him immediately. It's locked, she grumbled. Renato, this is a sign, let's go back. No, we've come this far, and we definitely won't make it back up. Walking around the shore will take until nightfall. Besides, we don't even know what the other shore is like. Come on, let's go, it's low here. Without waiting for Vicenta's response, Renato skillfully climbed the gate and jumped down on the other side. Vicenta looked at him in confusion. I don't know how to do that. Oh, come on. You grew up in the village and don't know how to climb a fence? Yes, but what about Marcos? Marcos? What about him? He's already crossed over faster than us, just from below, not above. And unlike you, he can swim already. Come on, why so hesitant? When I think of you with a crowbar, tearing off boards, it seems like you were replaced somewhere along the way. Didn't think you were such a coward. Vicenta realized that Renato was deliberately trying to provoke her. But her pride had taken over. She decisively placed her foot on the ledge and grabbed the top of the gate with her hands. Within 5 seconds, she was standing next to Renato, brushing off the leaves stuck to her wet knees. Now that's what I call it. Renato patted her on the shoulder. You were standing there like a shy first grader. So, what now? Shall we head to the footbridge? They walked along a narrow, stone-paved path deeper into the foliage until the dark yet clear water came into view. Dragonflies fluttered over the tall grass along the shore, crickets chirped nearby, and some birds sang from the intertwined branches of the willows over the water. It's so wonderful here, Vicenta whispered. Look, the footbridge is completely new. And it's clear that the place is well maintained. Everything was different in my childhood, but this is definitely my little spot. Why are you whispering? Renato laughed loudly. Be quiet, Vicenta looked at him pleadingly. What if someone hears us? Look, there's a boat and another footbridge on the other side. That wasn't there before. Apparently, people are using all this. Oh my God, look, Marcos has climbed out. Hearing his name, the dog barked loudly. Vicenta turned pale as a sheet. From somewhere on the other side, there was noise, and someone was coming down to the footbridge. Quick, into the bushes! Vicenta squeaked and was about to dive into the undergrowth, but Renato managed to grab her and hold her tightly. What are you doing? They're going to catch us. Who's there? A gruff male voice called out. Oh, Marcos, is that you? An old man appeared from the undergrowth, and the dog immediately ran to him, wagging his tail and jumping around playfully. Mateo, Renato shouted, I'm back, don't be alarmed. Oh, Renato, is that you? I heard barking and thought stray dogs had gotten in. Why aren't you coming through the front? How did you slip past me? Did you come down from the other side? You could easily break your neck there. Vicenta stood, not understanding what was happening. She looked from Renato to the old man on the other side. I see you're not alone? Mateo shouted. I won't bother the lady. The old man immediately left, taking the cheerful Marcos with him. Could you explain what's going on? Vicenta looked at Renato with suspicion. What's there to explain? The man smiled, releasing the woman from his embrace. This is my guard, Mateo, my grandfather's old comrade. When he found out I was building a house here, he immediately offered to keep an eye on the place while I'm away. Yes, actually, he lives here. In the guest house, though. He refuses to move into the big house. He's quite an interesting old man, by the way, a retired colonel. Or maybe he's just retired. I'm not sure how they do it. That's not what I meant, Renato. What do you mean? Oh. Right. The area we're in now is mine. My house is up on the hill. I bought this plot because of this little spot by the river. The moment I saw it, I fell in love. Yes, it was all overgrown back then, but you weren't the only one who swam here as a child. I actually discovered it before you did. We cleared everything, fenced it off to keep people out. Mainly to keep stray dogs away. And here we are. Why didn't you tell me right away? Vicenta lightly punched him on the chest. Did you enjoy tormenting me? Watching me tremble with fear? Vicenta, don't be mad. I just wanted to play a little joke on you. Let's swim now. The water is wonderful. You're such a fool. Vicenta puffed out her cheeks in mock annoyance. All right, you've convinced me. Vicenta slipped off her sundress, revealing the swimsuit she had worn underneath, and padded across the footbridge with bare feet. Cautiously testing the water with her foot, she eased into the river and let out a delighted scream. Isn't it great? Renato laughed, also removing his clothes. Time to play, then. Oh no! Vicenta squeaked. Anything but that. She quickly splashed around, creating a flurry of droplets, and then, feeling the depth under her feet, dove in and began to swim. The water pleasantly cooled her sun-warmed skin. It had been a long time since she had felt such bliss. All her problems seemed to evaporate, Enrique and his infidelities and the divorce, her regrets about wasted years, and the crumbling old house. There was only she and the river, lazily flowing through a corridor of trees. Renato caught up with her quickly, cutting through the clear water with an easy breaststroke. They splashed around for a long time, laughing with unrestrained joy. The man frequently doused her with a shower of splashes, and then, to Vicenta's great surprise, he pulled her close and kissed her. For real, with such passion and tenderness that Vicenta's head spun and everything around her merged into a whirlpool of droplets, sunbeams slipping through dense foliage, and the songs of birds. Vicenta lay on the soft cushions that covered the wide bench in the gazebo, resting her head on Renato's shoulder. Nearby, a cricket chirped, and the logs crackled in the brazier, casting magical glimmers and shadows on the wooden trellises covered in ivy. "Vicenta," the man said, kissing her on the forehead. "I'm leaving tomorrow. Work waits for no one. A month has gone by. I didn't think it would pass so quickly." Vicenta sighed deeply in response. Her heart was pounding desperately. She had spent a whole month in the company of this wonderful, kind, and soulful person. And now she realized he was leaving her alone, taking with him those joyful hours he had dedicated to her and her troubles. And she would be left alone with the old house, the overgrown garden, and no idea of where to go next. "Why the long face?" Renato asked playfully. "Oh, nothing." "No, come on, tell me." "There's nothing to tell," the woman said, pulling away and sitting up. "The fairy tale is over. Cinderella is left alone with her pumpkin, and the prince has gone off on his white horse." "You don't have a pumpkin," Renato laughed. "Just strawberries in the garden, though they're tasty. And the prince's horse isn't white, it's black." "Renato, stop it. You know perfectly well what I mean." "No, I don't." "Come on, confess, Cinderella." "Renato, we've only known each other for a month, and I already feel that there's no one more precious to me than you. Yes, I know I've let my imagination run wild, and I haven't believed in fairy tales for years. But still, it was so nice that I allowed myself to relax. And now you're leaving and won't be back until next year, and I'll be here alone. Instead of crystal slippers, I'll have felt boots in winter and galoshes in summer. Well, don't stay here. I see that village life isn't for you. Eating strawberries and swimming is one thing, managing a household is another. I have no doubt about your drive and energy, you could lift the whole village. But even though you were born in the village, you're made for something else. So, what do you dream of?" "Me?" Vicenta looked at him in confusion. "I know what I dream of," the man laughed. "I'd like to know about your dreams." "I don't have any dreams," Vicenta sighed resignedly. "I used to think I dreamed of a strong family, maybe 2 or 3 children. And now there are none, and my husband is gone. My dream has fallen apart. Then you appeared. I understand it's not serious, just a vacation romance. Only this vacation is different. I used to dream of being a florist. I love flowers so much. But not to have bouquets given to me. Enrique never really gave me any, just on holidays. But I didn't really need them. I love how people arrange compositions, match flowers together, create real masterpieces. But again, Enrique quashed all of that. He said it was a whim, a pastime for schoolgirls. Would you like to do that now? Well, who needs bouquets in the village? Maybe only to make them from weeds after weeding the beds? Who's talking about the village? Renato straightened up. I'm asking you if you want to or not. Of course, I do. Vicenta's eyes lit up. Well, as they say, it doesn't hurt to dream. It's harmful not to dream. Renato took her hand. Vicenta, will you come with me? Where? The woman looked at him in astonishment. To the city, where else? What would I do there? I'm only planning to go to court in a month. I'll get the divorce decree and come back. I still need to buy some chickens and firewood for the winter. While I have the money, I need to get it done. And then there's autumn. I'll clean up the garden and prepare it for the season. Vicenta, you don't understand, Renato looked her in the eyes. I'm inviting you to come with me for good. What do you mean? Vicenta frowned. Don't play dumb, the man smiled. You know exactly what I mean. Vicenta, we're not kids anymore. There's no need for all these long courtships. I really like you as a woman and as a person. I feel that it's mutual. Why drag it out? You're alone, I'm alone. Let's be together, that's all there is to it. Together? Vicenta was surprised. Wait, are you seriously proposing a relationship? Don't you want that? I'm rarely wrong about people. And it seems to me that you like me. If that's the case, I don't see any obstacles. I wouldn't want to leave you here, I get used to things quickly. Meeting once a year is rather silly. There's nothing really holding you here. You haven't even bought chickens yet. So, come on, leave it all behind. We'll come back next year. No, I'm not forcing you into anything. If you refuse, I'll understand. Yes, I have a dog and a daughter, but Marcos adores you, and Corazon. I think she'll like you. And she hardly ever shows up at home. If there's any conflict, I'll get my daughter an apartment to live separately. Besides, she'd probably prefer that idea over spending time with her old dad. Hey, old dad. Vicenta laughed, her insides burning with emotion. I don't even know what to say. Renato, this is very unexpected. We've only known each other for a month. It seems a bit wrong to suddenly start living together like this. What's wrong with it? Don't you believe in love at first sight? I thought all women dream of that. Well, let's say not at first sight, but at second. Aha! The man interrupted her, playfully grabbing Vicenta's hands. So, you're in love? Renato. She laughed. Why do you do this? Maybe I do love you, but... Vicenta, there can't be any buts here. If you love me, come with me. I've been burned many times in life and have even, to some extent, built walls around myself. But when I saw you, it was like everything inside me was on fire. I immediately knew you were the woman of my dreams. Just like that? How else? You should have seen yourself with that crowbar in your hands. You were all flushed, sweaty, angry, but determined to take decisive action. And is that the woman of your dreams? Vicenta laughed. From someone like that, you should actually run away, otherwise, she might end up hurting you. Well, Vicenta, as they say, it's a matter of taste. So? Will you come? I'll come, Vicenta replied after a moment's thought. If you're really not joking, I'd go with you to the ends of the earth. And will you go to floral arrangement classes? What? The classes, I'm asking? Yes, I got it, Vicenta cut him off. Of course, I'll go. I still have the money Enrique left, it should be enough for the courses. That's great. Renato hugged her tightly. Dreams need to be fulfilled, or else we'll die unfulfilled with a bunch of regrets. Renato? Vicenta asked timidly. What's your dream? And it just came true. The man laughed. I once wished upon a falling star to meet a woman who was right for me and to spend my whole life with her, knowing no sorrow. Oh, Renato. Vicenta playfully slapped his chest. Don't joke like that. I'm serious, Vicenta. You are a true dream, and I will never let anyone mistreat you. Do you believe in destiny? I don't know. I do. I might be a practical and serious person, but I'm a romantic at heart. I believe that nothing in this world happens by chance. I was planning not to come this year, I had so much to do. But at the last moment, I changed my mind. I felt that something important awaited me here, something that would affect my future. And believe me, I was right. Are you ready? Renato peeked into the bedroom. Vicenta was standing in front of the mirror, struggling to put on a delicate earring. She was dressed in a beautiful floor-length evening gown that elegantly hugged her slender figure. Yes, darling, just a minute more. I can't seem to get it on. Let me help you, Renato was immediately by Vicenta's side and in a few seconds had fastened the earring for her. "You look stunning. Vicenta, are you sure you want to go?" "Yes," the woman answered without hesitation. "I feel that I should. And I want to see his face." "I support that." Renato smiled and gently kissed his wife's painted lips. "Looks like I didn't smudge it." The car glided down the evening highway towards the restaurant. Pulling into the parking lot, Renato turned off the engine and gave his wife another admiring look. "Vicenta, you are beautiful. Everyone will envy you." "Let them envy." The woman smiled. "Envy is a bad quality." They got out of the car and headed towards the entrance of the establishment. A crowd of people had gathered outside. Many, upon seeing Renato, greeted him and shook hands. Vicenta immediately attracted attention. A tall, striking brunette in an expensive dress and high heels, but most of all, it was her smile that caught the eye. It was clear from her that she was the happiest woman on earth. Music played inside. A small string orchestra was performing modern melodies in a symphonic style. Waiters darted between the tables, serving guests various dishes. "Yes, he spent a fortune," Renato whistled. "They say it's not customary to celebrate a 40th birthday. I celebrated mine, but just in a quiet family setting. They say superstitions are a sign of foolishness. I just don't understand why someone would spend so much money on a birthday. It feels like he's just trying to show off." "Well, what does he care? He has nowhere else to put his money," Vicenta sighed. "He lives alone, his dog left him, it's been 6 months already. So, I guess he's trying to cheer himself up. Let him have his fun. Why should we care?" "Yeah. I'm just always amazed at how easily people spend money on pointless entertainment. I've always earned well, but I've only gotten used to spending on necessities. What's even more surprising is how cheap Enrique was with you. You deserve the best. Oh, and here he comes. Stay quiet, don't turn around. I want to see his face. Renato, how glad I am to see you." Enrique approached them with what seemed like open arms. "Oh, and you brought your wife? I'm so glad she could come. She's such a mystery to us all. So many rumors. Will you introduce us?" "We know each other," Vicenta said with a broad smile, turning to her ex-husband. "Happy birthday, Enrique. Here, accept our modest gift." Vicenta handed Enrique a small, beautifully wrapped package. Enrique stood there with his mouth open in surprise. "What's wrong with you?" she continued, noticing that the man was stunned. "Vicenta, is that you? Did I change that much in a year?" The woman laughed. "Yes, Enrique, it's me. But Vicenta is my wife. I know what you had before, Enrique, but let's leave all that in the past." Renato patted him on the shoulder. "Yes, Enrique," Vicenta interrupted her husband. "I sincerely want to wish you a happy birthday. No matter what happened, I hope everything turns out well for you. And I wish you to find a worthy woman who can make you truly happy. Now I want to eat. I'm so hungry. You have no idea, friends, how hungry a pregnant woman can get." Vicenta took her husband by the arm and headed towards their reserved table with a nameplate. Enrique was left standing with his mouth open, holding the beautiful package.
If you're enjoying it as well, leave a like and subscribe to the channel.